Hello students, today I have come up with two videos on bioenergetics. Bioenergetics is also known as biochemical energetics or biological thermodynamics. In this part 1, I'll be discussing some general concepts of bioenergetics and this is followed by part 2 in which I will be discussing the laws of thermodynamics. Now, what is bioenergetics? It is the quantitative study of the energy transductions or transformations or interconversions that occur in living cells, and in this we also study the nature and function of chemical processes underlying these transduction. So in other words, it is the field of biochemistry concerned with the transformation and use of energy by living cells. Now, what is energy and what are its various forms? Energy is defined as the capacity to do work, and it exists in a variety of forms such as light energy, chemical energy, electrical energy, mechanical energy, heat energy, etc. These different forms of energy are interconvertible. Having said that, in living organisms, certain interconversions do not take place. So, some of the common examples of transformations of energy in biological system are, for example, this is the picture of an electric fish that converts chemical energy to electrical energy. These are the phosphorescent bacteria that convert chemical energy into light energy, and the running horse represents conversion of chemical energy into mechanical energy. The main sources of energy in living organisms are the light energy and the chemical energy. It is the principal source, that means the light energy is the principal source of energy on Earth, and photosynthetic organisms, for example, green plants and photosynthetic bacteria, they can utilize this light energy directly, and other organisms, which are also called as the heterotrophs, they depend on these photoautotrophs. Photoautotrophs convert light energy into chemical energy by synthesizing complex organic substances from simple mineral molecules. Then chemical energy, the energy present in the organic substances synthesized by autotrophs, and it constitutes the source of energy for all other heterotrophs, directly for herbivores and indirectly for carnivores. Now, before moving further discussing the laws of thermodynamics, it will be useful to discuss certain concepts and define certain terms which will be frequently used during our discussion. The laws of thermodynamics make a distinction between the system and the surroundings. So, what is a system? The system means the matter within the defined region. So, within a defined region, this is the system. For example, it could be an organism, a cell, or even a cell-free system. It could also be an inanimate system, for example, a reaction chamber. And the surroundings refer to everything around the system. So everything around the system constitutes the surrounding. Actually, it includes the entire universe except the system. Right? Thus, the system and the surroundings make the universe. And if we consider cell as a system, everything within the cell boundary constitutes the system, while everything around that cell, including the adjoining cells, the earth, the atmosphere, including the outer space, make the surroundings. Now, some thermodynamic concepts. The first is entropy. It is an important concept in thermodynamics. The term was first used by Clausius, a German, in 1851. It is denoted by the letter S. It refers to the level of randomness or disorder in the system. The higher the entropy, the more the disorder. So it's a measure of energy that has become so randomized and uniform in a system that the energy is no longer available to do work. Any change in randomness of the system is entropy change, which is designated by delta S, and it has a positive value when randomness increases. The unit of entropy change is joules per mole degree Kelvin. Then enthalpy, another important concept in thermodynamics. It is denoted by symbol H. It refers to the heat content of the system, that is, the total energy in the system in terms of heat. This is usually the bond energy. In a chemical reaction, bonds are broken and reorganized to form the product. The total energy associated with the bonds in a system may thus change, and the change is written as delta H. So in exothermic reaction, delta H has negative value, and in endothermic reaction, delta H has positive value, and the unit of change in enthalpy is joules per mole or calories per mole. And this is another important concept, the free energy. This is the most important type of energy in biological system and is denoted by letter G in the honor of J.W. Gibbs, a US mathematician cum physical chemist. It is the fraction of the total of energy of a system which can be available to do work at constant temperature and pressure. It is a measure of potential energy, though it cannot be measured directly, but the change in free energy, that is delta G, can be measured. The change in free energy is calculated by taking the difference between the sum of free energies of the products and that of the reactants. And the unit of change in free energy is joules per mole or calories per mole. When a reaction proceeds with the release of free energy, then delta G has a negative sign and the reaction is said to be exergonic. For example, respiration. And in endergonic reactions, the system gains free energy, and therefore delta G is positive, for example, as in case of photosynthesis. Now this video would be followed by part 2 of bioenergetics, in which we will be discussing the laws of thermodynamics. Thank you.